Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and Supergirl, of course, is the next DCU movie to come out this year, and it's getting test screenings, which don't seem to be going over overly well, which is bad news for this movie, because this movie will have a lot riding on it. But it's also what Millie Alcock is coming out, talking about what to expect from her character, but what the message is from her character to young females. And it's a weird message. It's like, really? That's the message you want to give? Now, there was another article the other day about test screenings, and I didn't want to cover it because it wasn't exactly from a reliable source, because it was an absolutely unknown source. It just happened to be this random person. What was confirmed was that there was test screenings. Well, apparently more test screenings have been held, and the reactions are still pretty mixed on the movie. So we're going to have a look at all of this new information. So after making her DCU debut for a brief scene in James Gunn's Superman, Millie Alcock is set to take flight in her solo Supergirl movie this summer. And the House of the Dragon alum discussed this latest big screen take on the Girl of Steel while chatting to Beyond the Noise. Alcock didn't reveal any new details about the movie, but did comment on what she hopes her unconventional interpretation of Clark Kent's cousin will inspire in the younger generation of female fans. This is where it gets really weird. This is the message she hopes young girls walk away from this movie with, which is this. I think young girls should walk away from the film knowing that it's okay to be a bit bad and messy. Really? That's an incredibly strange thing to want to say to young people. As opposed to, there's greatness inside all of you and you can aspire to be something bigger and better than you are, or something like, no. Instead it's okay to be a bit bad and messy. It's like, oh, that's a weird interpretation, especially for young people. So another test screening for Supergirl was held during the week, and Cryptic 4K Cool was sent some reactions. Now, again, I've never heard of this particular scooper or whoever they are, but it says, like the responses we saw to the previous screenings, it seems those in attendance were mixed on the film. Alcock's performance comes in for high praise, and Jason Momoa's Lobo is set to steal the scenes he appears in. Matthias, whatever his second name is, villainous Krem of the Yellow Hills, is once again singled out as a negative. So apparently the character of Krem and the guy playing is terrible. That's apparently the news doing the rounds, is that the whole villain arc and stuff is god awful. So what this guy wrote on his X was this, saying it did, I'm assuming he's responded to someone, saying, now don't come for me because I'm just the messenger. 3 others reached out to me and said the opposite. Also, is this the 5th or 6th test screening so far? That was the original post that I'd seen. And what he's saying there is, don't come at me, 3 others have reached out saying the opposite, is he heard that it was terrible, and then others apparently contacted him and said they thought it was great. So this is where it was mixed reactions, apparently. So it continues saying, another one apparently sent him a message saying Supergirl was IGHT, whatever the hell that stands for. As others have said, the villain wasn't really all that. Kara was good and there were some decent fights, but overall it was kinda meh. Lobo was the standout for me. He was the GOAT in every scene he was in. Also, they used the score from Dune in one of the scenes, obvious placeholder but still funny in my opinion. Or sorry, it's laughing my ass off. I don't know why I said in my opinion. So that was someone sending the message. It's, why would you use the Dune music as a placeholder? That's weird. And that is the thing, by the way, keep in mind with all these test screenings, is these are unfinished movies, so a lot of the effects and stuff may not be complete and stuff like that. And obviously they have no score because they've just gotten their third, that's right, their third composer. So another one said, hi, I attended a Supergirl screening today. You were right about the villain being underwhelming. His motivation was really lacking. I'm sure you already know the plot, so I won't share anything plot-wise. The film is a meh adaptation of that one comic. The villain is super lame. Kara is really good as Supergirl though. I loved her performance. Her little journey with Ruthie is prit. It says prit. I suppose the message continued and said pretty. But it just says prit. I'll click on it and see if there's more to that overall message. And the answer to that is no. So it stops by saying that Ruthie is prit. So, okay. I do see little highlights of white that is under it. So clearly there was more to that message. But that's all that's come out. So it's saying for every one positive review in a test screening, there's like 3 to 4 semi-negative ones. So that's what this guy was writing. So, look, the test screenings are test screenings. So it's kind of, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Don't know. Test screenings, it's a good gauge for a movie, but at the same time, you do have to keep in mind that you are looking at an unfinished product. So it's not great, and it's definitely things to worry about when a lot of the reactions are negative. So when you're hearing like, oh yeah, it's pretty lackluster and stuff like that, that's when you start going, uh-oh, you know, as opposed to them coming out and saying it's absolutely fantastic, because you still take a grain with salt with that as well. But it's saying Supergirl will also star Eve Ridley as Ruthie, Mary Knoll, and David Krumholtz, or however you pronounce his name, and blah blah blah. Who cares really about all the names? The movie, of course, comes out in June 26th of this year. So we do know that this is a full-on one-on-one adaptation of the Tom King book. Now keep that in mind as well, because that book is a disaster. It was one of the worst performing Supergirl comic books that was ever released. Nobody likes Tom King. His stories are always dire and horrible and stuff like that. Ask people that work in comic book stores, hey, Tom King, what do you think? All their reactions are pretty much the same, going, oh God, Tom King. The less said, better. And of course, he's heavily involved in everything DC right now. Literally. He's pretty much hand in hand with James Gunn working on all this. He's working on Lanterns. He's worked on this. I think he has a hand in Clayface. All this stuff. So that's where you need to get worried. The test screenings, again, take them for what they are. They're test screenings. So, you know, it could be good, could be bad. Clearly, they're all saying Millie Alcock is great as Kara Zor-El / Supergirl. Lobo apparently is a big standout, but they're saying the villain is very underwhelming and a massive letdown. Which, like, when you have a character called Creme of the Yellow Hills, it's like, dude, come on. And apparently they've changed his look. He's the one that kind of looks very closely into the camera in the trailer, which looks like something straight out of Guardians. And apparently they've changed his look. Whether that's true or not, don't know. But I think, moreover, is this thing of what the takeaway for young girls is to say it's okay to be a bit bad and messy. That's weird. But overall, what do you guys think? Do you think we should be reading into the test screening news? Do you think that the people who are writing this did actually see the movie? Because you notice none of them have broken down the story or anything. They're not saying, oh, the story is lackluster or anything like that. It's all very much, the character here is good, that character's good, that character's underwhelming. Nothing about the plot or the story. So that's where I always kind of question things. But what do you think about that? But more importantly, what do you think about this message for young women of be bad and be messy? That's okay. Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and hit the hype button and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.